be called Just Desserts, because this is the social equity table. So, and one of the things we're talking about when we talk about social equity is to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate and be a part of the Hutto community in the future. And so in order to do that, I'm going to take you through a series of questions that kind of talk about what we need to look like in the future, what's going to be important that we have and we don't have as we move forward. So the first part of this is actually a nodding or a shaking your head exercise. So it allows you to eat the delicious dessert while I kind of take you through a series of pictures. So we're going to go through a series of pictures that are code enforcement violations. So I need you to tell me if you think it's a code enforcement violation or you think you would be just fine having this next to your house that your neighbor would be doing, okay? So again, you just have to nod if it's a code enforcement violation. Go, nah, that's not a code enforcement violation. All right. So, and let me just say these are all Hutto pictures. These are all properties in Hutto. You can keep eating, there's nothing that's going to put you off. But if it is your house or the property next to you or you know the person who owns it, you don't have to say anything. We'll just move on very quickly. So, this is a property with tarps and actually has a tree growing through the middle of the building. Code violation? Tree growing through the house. Trees growing through the house. Yeah, okay. So here we have broken window, no paint, no skirting on the property. Code enforcement violation? All right, here we have a house that has the wall pulling away, separating from the other part of the house. Code enforcement violation? Okay, all right, well, here we go. So what happens when the wall pulls away is air's getting in, rodents are getting in, things are getting in, and so everything inside is being compromised because you have elements coming in from the outside. This is not trash day, so this is something that they just kind of like to do. So code enforcement violation, okay? Nobody wants that next to their house. All right. This is side of property, and so we call this high weeds and grass. Code enforcement violation? Yes, it's a side, and even if it were in the back, it's still a code enforcement violation because as long as it can harbor rodents, rodents are can be a health problem, so it would become a code enforcement violation. Okay, here we've got just a dead limb on the curb. Code enforcement violation? Right. It can't be picked. It won't be picked up because it's not bundled. It's not put into the 4-foot lengths and bundled. So, so it will stay there for a long time till someone moves it. Okay. This is a fence that has fallen down. Code enforcement violation? And this, PIY, you're my first resident that knows my PIY, parking in yard.
Parking in yard. So there was a rumor that it was legal a few years ago.
No.
And I would say no, because you never know if there are pipes on people's store and everything.
So, code enforcement violation, yes. Okay.
No,
so,
they were bragging.
One of the things that we're really concerned about and we've seen happen is we spend a lot of time from the city side on code enforcement doing a lot of education, spending a lot of time with residents who really don't know how to take care of the property or don't know that these are violations. And we always start off with education. That's very important. So if we find a violation, we educate them, tell them that's a violation and why. If they don't fix it, we give them a notice, and then if they don't fix that, we give them a citation. And as we continue to grow and as some of our homes continue to age, that's going to become a bigger part of what we do. So one of the things we're looking at is trying to pull back and go, okay, a lot of those people that came to Hutto were first-time home buyers when we had that giant growth, 7 to 10 years ago. So what is it we need to do to make sure that we have educated our first-time home buyers, we prepared them, because the last thing we need is a lot of homes going into decline, not just with code enforcement violations, but with just upkeep, and then having a lot of other problems on our hands with property values declining. So my question to y'all, now that you have finished your delicious desserts, is what is it that the city could be doing to help first-time home buyers better prepare themselves and better understand and know and be aware of what needs to be done? HOA meetings, okay.
Are you saying first-time home buyer, first-time in Hutto buying them, or just
First-time home buyers, yeah.
Well, yeah, you can tell them this is the way it is, but I don't think it's just first-time home buyers. With the city growing the size it is, I think you should be, oh, you're moving to Hutto.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
All right, okay.
Because Austin obviously is going to have much different code violations and not be as stringent.
Yes, yes.
As Hutto.
Right, okay. Good, very good point, very good point. Yes. You're not a code violator?
Well, it's private ownership.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not younger, a younger person.
Right.
Doesn't know,
Yeah.
in the military, so I didn't buy a home.
Right. So are there any things that you think we should be doing that, to help people prepare? Maybe not like you, but other people that might.
They come, when you have a code violation, they just get a citation and say you had a branch on the sidewalk, or does it explain what it was, what the...
We usually try to actually visit with them before we do it, so that, again, we try to do the education. The goal is voluntary compliance. The goal is not to give everyone a ticket.
Because that right there, when I was growing up,
Yes. Perfectly allowed? Yeah. Depending on where you lived, it still is allowable. Okay. Good. Any other ideas or suggestions for us on what we can do to kind of, again, property maintenance is going to be very important as we move forward with the homes that were built during that time.
One of the questions that we as a community have to ask, and I was in a first-time home buyer when I moved to Hutto, but there's such an increase in home ownership, and I think the question is, do people really even care? I mean, some of it is private ownership, like you talked about, but some of it, I think, is just nobody ever told them. They didn't have that conversation.
Right.
So I think there's definite value in creating a small pamphlet or just some basic, hey, did you know that
Right.
you did this,
Right.
or did you know that
All right. One more comment, and then I got to move on.
National Night Out.
Yes.
We're always big about the police coming and the fire trucks coming, but what if
Our
this
code
came
enforcement.
too?
Okay.
And
Good.
not as you're doing wrong, but
Right.
you know.
Good. Thank you. Good suggestions.
But sooner, we don't want one wait a year because we just had one.
Yeah.
So could we do something more public where or get flyers out there when they're picking up the trash, put on the trash bin or deliver it? Because people don't seem to know, they
Yeah.
refuse to accept, even though it's put in the newspaper, it's talked about in the city council meetings. You can call the code officer and stop by the code officer, right?
Yeah.
Find out. But then it doesn't necessarily mean, and then sections seem to get away with it. Worse than others.
Right.
So it's
And
inconsistent.
a lot of it has to do with whether there's an HOA or not in the neighborhood. All right, we're going to have to move on. So the next part I'm going to talk about is poverty. And you're going, well, okay, but part of what we need to understand is where Hutto is and make sure that we're a community for everyone. So the school district provided us with some very recent statistics. This is of September 10th. So this is our current fall enrollment of the free and reduced lunch program participants in each of the campuses. And so you can see based on, probably where you live, which elementary is in your neighborhood, but the total for the school district is 48% of the students enrolled in Hutto ISD are on free and reduced lunch. And so, and what the school district has told me is that is a low number, they know, because a lot of families won't fill out the forms. They won't fill out and they won't provide that information for a variety of reasons. So they know this is a low number. They know kids still go hungry within the community because they can't afford a lunch, but they find resourceful ways to share and do some other things. Is this a number that surprises you as a resident here of that we're at 48%. What I find is that the school system is a great harbinger for what's to come in a community. If the demographics are changing in the schools, that's what your community is going to look like in the future. It comes much faster than the census. You know, census is every 10 years and you have to wait for it. But the schools are a great barometer because they're showing you exactly what's going to be happening. And so one of the things we want to talk about is, the question we want to ask is, what are the services or what are the areas that we need to be planning for in the future to ensure that we're supporting this reality that we have here? And it's not necessarily what does the city need to be doing, but as a community, what do we need to be planning for? What's going to be important for us to be thinking about, making sure that we have in the future? That is the question to be posed.
Isn't there the program that, and specifically about the school age, isn't the backpack?
Yes. Yes, they pass out backpacks.
Well,
Right.
there's also a backpack snack or something like that. It's where, and you go
Right.
and
Right.
churches, go back and forth. That's right.
Yes, yeah, and they do weekends. They do weekends. So yeah, that's, I mean, but again, and we're talking about when these become residents, you know, have we made sure they have a good education? Are they prepared for a job? Are they going to be productive here in Hutto? You know, what is it we need to do to make sure that happens? Transit? Okay. Excellent. Very good. This place, yes. Right. Okay.
And the numbers that you see right there too, in those particular schools, 51%, 55%. My daughter goes to Hutto. 51%, 55%, 65%. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. So, you know, what do the grades look like is what I would ask. Because how do the children suffer? Whether they're getting,
well, the good news is that they're getting good meals, breakfast and lunch, and they're also getting school gets additional resources because of the numbers. So you know, these kids, right? They are. Yeah.
There's also a summer feeding program.
Yes, we have a summer lunch.
I know that my daughters went to Nadine for the summer for Viking, and
Right.
there were people that came in.
Absolutely.
You know, as far as even summer feeding, I was down in the valley and there were signs at every Stripes, that the Brownsville ISD put up on them. Now that is, of course, funds. They got to spend the money to print the poster, but
Federal
there's that
funds,
information
right?
And there are posters.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any closing burning comments before I move to the last one? Okay, so we've gone from taking care of property to some poverty issues. Now we're going to talk about community wealth, not just individual wealth, but just the whole community. All right. So this is very basic math. Anyone can argue with it, and I could have done it a variety of ways, but I wanted to make it so simple you could follow along. So our budget for this year is $41 million. I took $41 million, divided it by our 20,000 estimated residents, and got $2,093. So basically it costs the city, or it costs, I'm costing $2,093 to live here. Now, average home value in Hutto is $149,000 this last year. So I took our tax rate that we have, didn't take a homestead exemption, so this is straight, easy dollars, and the average home pays $769 in city taxes. So if your average house has 3 people in it, you're costing the city $6,270, and you're paying $769. That is not atypical for a city. Communities always, residents never pay their fair share of what it costs to support the residents. That's because of this, because we have businesses in the community. And that's why when we talk about a community, you talk about the business and the residents. So I took our highest taxpayer, which you may find interesting to be Lowe's Home Improvement, and they will pay $61,802 just in property tax this year. They also are our highest sales tax generator because thanks to me and all the plants I have bought in the last 2 weeks, they got a lot of sales tax coming in. So just in property tax alone, they bring in $61,000 to our $41 million budget. And then again, the sales tax. So this is just basically to show that our businesses, which don't usually require a lot of they don't have code enforcement, they don't call the police, they don't have, they're just nice, quiet, tenants. And they generate a lot of money for us, so a lot more than the $61,000. So just to give you a perspective on what a resident costs and then what a resident pays. So then, very simple math again. I took our taxable value and said, okay, so how much of our revenue actually comes from residents? And so it's 76%. And the commercial value in our town is 21%, and then we have 3% that's still farmed. It's agriculture. And this is an important pie as we look at the future for Hutto, because we have a lot of space to grow into. We're not just our nice 8 square miles right now. We have a lot of space that we can grow into, that is ours to grow into. And so we need to know what it's going to look like in the future. We need for the community and the council to say, this pie is not right. We want this pie to be different, to support the community in the future, to be sustainable in the future. So the question to y'all is, what does our future pie look like? And since it was the dessert course, I think this is a very appropriate question. So, is that 75-25 the right ratio, or what do you think it should be? And it's really your thoughts. I mean, it's just your ideas. And what would be 60?
60 residential.
And you're saying 60 business?
Hutto is going to be a residential area. I mean, it's just going to be that way, and I don't think that we're going to end up. Whatever the future holds in 20, 50 years, whatever, I don't know. I don't see it being Highway 35.
Right.
Round Rock. I don't see it having that kind of industry or that kind of business. But I think 60-40.
Okay. All right. And you said 60 business. Why? What are your thoughts?
I just think it needs to be that. We have too many opportunities for growth, business-wise, along the toll road. Yeah, you can have residential, but again, none of the tax dollars going to live in businesses. That's what I think should be.
All right, very good. Other ideas? Other ratios that y'all think? Anybody want to be 50-50? Thinking that's a nice split? Nobody wants to be in the middle? And certainly, one of the things that drives that will drive this commercial growth is density. I mean, the fact retail won't come until there's a dense population that they can serve, that they can be assured that they're going to succeed in. So that's part of that part. But the other side is, again, that retail and that commercial pays a lot in taxes, again, to help subsidize everyone who's living there. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of how the reality is. So. Yes. Retail, they're like lemmings. They're going to wait for one to go in, and then they'll all just come. So when we get it, we're going to get it.
Do you think that a grocery store would bring them more retail, or do you think that is totally different? And I know that's a sore subject with everything.
Well, a little bit, yes. But I'll respond this way. I attended a retail live, kind of a retail kind of center festival thing, and talked to a lot of retailers who could come to Hutto. I had one guy, Hibbett Sports. I walked up to him, and they looked at my name badge and went, "Oh, Hutto, you're getting a big box." and I'm thinking, well, that means we're getting Academy because that's the next box to come in. So then I'm like, are we getting Academy? You know, and they're like, no, they're not ready yet to commit. But because Academy might be here, they will never, Hibbett's will never come because they'll get eaten up. So I use that to show what HEB is. HEB owns that land at Star Ranch, on that corner of Star Ranch. As long as they own that land, they are the threat to anyone else who might want to come in. So just by virtue of the fact they own that, it decreases our opportunity to do things. Yes.
And we have on, it's not like we're waiting.
But, right. We have another plan. Yeah. Yes. Right. Oh yeah. No. But we have a plan. We're going to get something. It's not going to be an HEB right away, but we're going to get something. So yeah. Yeah. And we'll boycott. Yeah. But no, it's all good. So, but thank y'all very much for being here tonight, and thank you for sticking it out to the end. You guys were fantastic through this whole thing, so we really appreciate your input, and stay tuned. We're going to have more conversation later.